Linda.
So moved.
Motion by Lundell.
Second.
Second from Johnson. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carries. That moves us to public input. Public input is intended to afford the public an opportunity to address concerns to the City Council. The public input will be no longer than 30 minutes in total length, and each speaker will have no more than 3 minutes to speak. Speakers may address topics relevant to the governance of the city. Speakers must sign up in advance and must provide their name, address, and the topic they intend to address. Comments must be on topic, respectful, pertinent to city business, and adhere to the applicable data privacy rules. Any speaker that violates these rules will be asked to sit down, and if the speaker refuses to comply, they may be removed from the meeting. Speakers shall not address topics that are the subject of a public hearing. All such comments shall be made at the public hearing. The City Council will not generally act on issues raised by the public input, but may choose to schedule consideration of the item on a future agenda. First up tonight, is it Justin Sieben? Sure. You're up first.
Hello, I'm Justin Sieben. I live on 30379 72nd Avenue Way. I want to talk a little bit about the paving project that's coming up. Us in the neighborhood believe the only people benefiting from the paving will be the city. It's only going to put a financial burden on us. The other thing I'd like to talk about is the lack of being informed of the development and the paving of the road. The only thing I've gotten so far was this pamphlet. No postage on it in my mailbox. Going to my mailbox, put that in there is a federal offense. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up, we've got, is it Mike Bowen?
Excuse me. Okay, yeah, hello, I'm Mike Bowen, and I live on Lot 5, Block 1 of Hardwood Estates, right across the street from Justin. So kind of picking up on where Justin was, I just have a brief comment about kind of a lack of communication between the City Council, the EDA, and the property owners. So far to date, we've gotten no notice, written or official notice from the city or anybody about what is going on with this road that's right in front of us. Now, I've heard a lot about it. I'm here now, but all I've heard is through the grapevine, rumor mills, around town, and doing my own poking around and research and getting some paperwork. So now I have an idea what's going on. But and I do know that in 2 weeks there's going to be a public input meeting for the public to make their case or whatever it is. But so far we haven't gotten anything in writing to describe this in detail, what we're even talking about. I mean, I can hear my neighbors talking and all that sort of thing. But so far, like Justin, all I've gotten here is this pamphlet handed to me 2 weeks ago by the WKHS surveyor, I suppose, and it's just about the second subdivision, not necessarily the road in front of us. So I guess my question is, before this meeting in the next 2 weeks, are we going to get something in writing or some kind of notice in detail what's going on? Because when we come and talk next November 1st, I want to know what the topic is and what we're talking about, not just what I've heard through my neighbors.
Normally public input is just a one way so that you can bring the issue up to us and it's not a back and forth, but you will get information before that meeting. You will get information before that meeting.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Laura and Mark Ressler?
Yeah, hey, I own the house on 30319. It's on the corner of the street. And just to add to what these guys said, I didn't know a thing about it until Mr. Sieben called me up a couple days ago and said, hey, this is big surprise to me. I'm kind of knocked over by it. So yeah, a little better information would be great, because I don't live there, so I didn't get the piece of paper. And just that the cost knocks me out, and I'm just wondering if there's some way that this cost, obviously the lion's share of the benefit is not for us for building this. So I'm just wondering how, how is normally the price is shared among, and what can be done, because it just, this isn't benefiting us. So it's just a huge expense. It knocks me out. And I'm just wondering if there's other ways to afford this whole thing, just because the lion's share of the benefit does not seem to be to us. And I'm just wondering how that all works out. And I just need more information. So thank you very much.
Thank you. That moves us on to public hearings. And the first public hearing tonight, item A, Resolution 2711, certifying unpaid utility charges to be collected with taxes. Would anybody like to speak for that public hearing? Or I have to open the public hearing? Okay. We don't have to vote to open, do we?
No, you got to open it and close it.
Okay. Public hearing is open. If anybody would like to speak about unpaid utility charges to be collected by taxes. Going once. Going twice. Third time. Certifying unpaid utility charges to be collected with taxes. The public hearing is now closed. If the council would like to approve Resolution 2711.
So moved.
Motion from Ms. Johnson. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second from Mr. Gesme. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carries. Moves us to public hearing B. Introduction and first reading of ordinance 399, an ordinance amending City Code 151.112 relating to private wells and individual sewer treatment systems. The public hearing is now officially open if anybody would like to speak on this issue. Going once. Going twice. Third time. Public hearing is now closed. Council, if there's any discussion or questions for Zach about the private wells and individual sewer treatment systems. No questions?
You want to just give us a quick synopsis of what we changed or what got changed in our ordinance?
For sure. Yeah. So before tonight is an ordinance text amendment specifically relating to City Code 151.112 to allow for well and septic to serve a residential lot as opposed to connecting to the city's public system. This is brought forth by Timber Ridge Development and was approved at the last Planning Commission meeting. Some of the language, a lot of the language actually has been changed. It's vague. Some of it's vague on purpose just to give council some discretion when making a final decision, but ultimately there's a lot of criteria in here that must be met prior to your approval. So if there's any questions, if you want to skim through it, I'll do my best to answer.
So it's pretty much going to be, it'll be pretty uncommon that we do it because most people can hook up to city water and sewer. So
That's kind of the correct, yep.
okay. Yeah, that's what I got from it, so.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Any questions for Zach or discussion from the council? Hearing none, I would take a motion to approve.
So moved. Second.
Motion from Mr. Jepson, second from Ms. Johnson. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carries. Public hearing, item C, Resolution 2715, approving property tax abatements and authorizing execution of a tax abatement agreement. That public hearing is now open. If anybody would like to speak on the property tax abatement and authorizing execution of tax abatement agreement. Going once. Going twice. Third and final try. Public hearing is now closed. Council, questions or discussion about Resolution 2715? Neil, would you like to speak on it?
Sure. You have seen this before, but there has been one change that we implemented, so I want to bring that in front of you. This is the old Sandstone Ridge development again. We're back at that. One good thing is we have a developer that wants to develop it. As you know, there was a lot of curb and gutter up in there. They were going to do a bunch of twin homes and triplexes and fourplexes, and the roads are in really tough shape. With that said, the developer would like a little assistance through a tax abatement and for the price of about $50,000. That is the cost approximately of what the curb and gutter removal of that project would be. So when we talked about it in the beginning, it was a 10-year interest-bearing prime rate at time of signing for $50,000. During that time, we've kind of run into some inflationary issues and some, the housing market has slowed up a little, and what they are requesting today is the same $50,000, same 10 years interest bearing, but they would like an additional 5 years on the backside of that without interest, just to be on the safe side to get their money. With that said, it'll start next year. It'll go for 15 years. There will be a 10% administrative charge for us handling it and the county handling it, and whoever, takes a lot of work to do the abatement. So there'll be a 10% admin fee, and if the $50,000 is paid early, we'll decertify it and be done with it. And if it goes to 15 years and it's not all paid, it'll also be done. So either it'll end up early and we've had success up there, or we'll go the full 15 years and they'll get what they get at the end of 15 years.
Questions or discussion from the council? Hearing none, I'd take a motion to approve Resolution 2715.
So moved.
Motion from Ms. Johnson. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Second from Mr. Jepson. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carries. That moves us to the consent agenda. Consent agenda items may be adopted under one motion as presented, or may be removed for discussion and resolution as council business. Item A, just and correct claims for the accounting period that ended on November 2nd. Item B, meeting minutes for October 17th City Council meeting. Item C, approve 2024 Joint Powers Agreement for Building Code Administration with Goodhue County. Item D, approve Grove Street Retention Pond drainage. Item E, Resolution 2712, approving a cooperative snow removal agreement with MnDOT. Item F, approve purchase of a metal detector for Public Works. Item G, approve roof inspection reports and repairs. Item H, approve declaration of release and termination of developers agreement for Sandstone Ridge. Item I, approve charitable gambling at Chuggers Bar and Grill by Minnesota J.C.'s Charitable Foundation. Any of those that the council would like to pull down?
I have one question for Jed, if we can.
Absolutely.
I just noticed that there's a $64,000 difference between the two bids. Is one guy not seeing it all, or one guy seeing it too much?
So I went out and I asked 3 different contractors for quotes on that. I only came back with Schumacher and Fitzgerald. I gave them all the exact same information. I have maps and everything from. Do you want to help out?
The estimate was 20,000.
The estimate was 20,000. So, we even went and walked the property. So he knows exactly the scope of work that needs to be done. We feel confident with that low quote.
Okay.
I think sometimes when you get this time of year, them high bids are depending on how much work they really need.
A lot of people are struggling right now, though, too. So.
Yeah. So.
Good question. Any other items that the council would like to discuss or pull down?
Did you want to bring down reg on that other one?
No, that was just between you and me.
Okay.
We could make fun of MnDOT and Highway 19 with item E, but I'll let that be. Hearing none, could I get a motion to approve the consent agenda? Motion from Gesme.
Second.
Second from Lisa. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? It passes. Brings us to item 8, the hearing. The Terrace of Cannon Falls Nursing Home hearing, which is going to be led by Police Chief McCormick. He is absent, so we will still have the hearing with the discussion. Our attorney, Shelley, is on hand, so we can have discussion about this. Who would like to take the lead? All right, Shelley.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So I received information from Chief McCormick that there were potential city code violations at the property located at 300 Dow Street North. That is what we call the terrace. And so based on the information I received, I determined there were city code violations Under the building maintenance and appearance nuisance section of the code, essentially dilapidated tarps hanging from the building and broken windows. I did send the first notice of violations. I received confirmation that certified mail receipt had been received and signed for. We did give the property owners ample time to abate the nuisance, which they failed to do. So under city code, the abatement process began with the notice of the actual nuisance condition. The failure to correct the condition brings it before the city council. I'm requesting an order from the council, first declaring that the conditions, again, mostly broken windows, which allows unlawful entry into the property. We've seen numerous calls to the property.
Yes, we have multiple calls going back to the date of when it became vacant, multiple burglaries, thefts from the property. We have other issues with plumbing and stuff in there as well that's been noticed.
And we feel that this all stems from or begins with the open entry, more so obviously than the tarps. That's more of an aesthetic thing. So we would request the next step in the process is an order for abatement from the council and a declaration of a nuisance. Again, this is done under City Code Section 97.021, which allows the council, excuse me, to declare a nuisance for certain conditions, which I set forth in the notice to the property owner. We gave them notice of this hearing, which is required. It's not a public hearing. It's an opportunity for the owners to come and speak. I don't know if they're here today or not, but you should give them an opportunity. Then at the close of that, we'd ask that you find it to be a nuisance. That's step one. And then afford the owners a period of time. When I talked to Chief McCormick, we feel that 2 weeks would be an ample period of time to give the service of the order notice to get this taken care of. The issue here is a public nuisance that seems relatively minor at this stage, can quickly get out of control, and we want to get control of it now and start the process now. If eventually they don't correct the violations, then we'll work through the process to go in, abate, and certify to property taxes. But this part comes first. Fire department's been called there multiple times as well.
Yes, so the fire department's been called there. We've been called there as recently as 2 days ago, 3 days ago for an entry where kids have vandalized inside of the building. We're starting to see the inside of the building deteriorate every time that we go in there as well.
Is there still power and water
There
to
is
the building?
power and there is water. One of the concerns that I've noticed the last time I'm in there with some of the broken windows situation is that with the cold weather's coming, you're gonna have broken pipes fairly soon.
Yep.
I know that from past meetings, I know you guys have located the water mains, hopefully know where the shutoffs are. What we've seen with like the mill, the old mill, eventually if people get in there, copper's gonna start disappearing and you're gonna run into problems that way as well.
Any questions from the, yep, Diane.
So when we say the abatement, when do we get the right to either go in and turn off the water so it doesn't have broken pipes or board up the windows or do things like that?
Councilmember Johnson, that's an excellent question. And turning off the water is something that can be done promptly. I think we're getting close to that point, and that we should be looking at doing that. That is, in my view, something different than abating the nuisance that we have with the broken window. We can't, under city code and, constitutional protections and trespass and that, we can't go in and just fix the window. We need this order, another failure to comply, an application for administrative search warrant, ability to enter the property without violating the property owner's rights. So it'll be another few weeks, but we do need to get it started.
One of the things that they're on auto pay for their water payment, and I don't know if we can shut them off if they're up to, their bill is up, right? Up to snuff. So, we do know where the shut-off is. I've had the guys exercise the valve to make sure it works. But right now, they're on auto payment, and the heat and electricity, the air conditioning was actually on this last summer. I wish they would take care of the tarps and fix the windows so we don't have to go through this. But they become silent on us, and I don't think it would take that much work to take care of that, but now we got to go through a process.
One thing on the police department standpoint of things, we have been doing daily patrols of the area, trying our best to keep the kids out. We're at least twice a day if we can on our availability. So we're monitoring doors that we're finding open. We're documenting all that stuff for the city records as well. So there is multiple patrols of that are occurring.
Any other questions or discussion from the council?
I was going to say, thanks to the police department, fire for the monitoring, but at the same time, we really shouldn't have to do that.
Right.
You know, that's, there again, you could be other places patrolling, but we do certainly appreciate your doing it at this point. So what do you need from us, a motion?
Make a motion to consider to declare it to be a nuisance?
Well, first, make sure there's no one here to speak on behalf of the owner for the public hearing.
Is there anybody here from the Terrace ownership group to represent the nursing home? It appears there's not.
Okay. Then I would move to declare, I would request a motion to declare nuisance condition on the property, including the deteriorating tarps, the broken windows and glass as set forth in the prior nuisance order. And then I would request that the council order the property owner to repair and to remove the tarps, repair the glass within a specified period of time. I think, 2 weeks is probably appropriate.
Yep.
And then that order will be served by myself as we would in any hazardous building action. So it'll be certified and served and posted on the property.
Can we do that all under one motion?
Can that
Yes.
be? All right.
Then I so move.
Motion from Mr. Gesme.
I second.
Second from Ms. Grote. Any further discussion or questions? Hearing none, those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carries. Thank you. Moving on to council business. Item A, 2023-2024 street and utility improvements. Bill, do you want me to read the resolutions first or one at a time? We can go through.
Yep.
Resolution 2713, declaring the cost to be assessed and ordering preparation of proposed assessment in connection with the street and utility improvements, and then also Resolution 2714, calling the hearing on assessments for the street and utility improvements. Bill.
Thank you, Mayor.
Yep.
So the two resolutions before you, so we did open bids. So the bid results are in your packet. And real briefly, just I'll summarize that. So our cost opinion was $1.4 million. We had 10 bidders, which is great to see. And the low bidder also happened to be the same low bidder for Grove Street. So, and what we were told is that Fitzgerald Excavating, they are looking for work. So I think that maybe explains their other project, because the first thing they asked is there any parts of this they can work on in the winter? You know, they want to get going. So their bid was roughly $1.27 million, so under budget, so which we always love to see. So then after that, then we take that little bid and then we, recalculate the assessments. So, and maybe just a bigger, broader brush at this, because I may inadvertently answer some of the questions from the 72nd Avenue Way people. And that is, when we do an assessment project, we first have an initial public hearing, which on 72nd Avenue Way is scheduled for the next meeting, where that's the first time we publicly present all the information. We go over what the council has looked at, and you decide to move forward with design or not. So that had occurred at this project. We already had that hearing. And then after plans are done, you authorize to go out for bids, which you previously did. Now we receive the bids. And then now that you have bids, anything up until this point has been preliminary for assessments. Now, fortunately, in this case, All the assessments will all be slightly less, except for one property owner will be about $400 more expensive than the preliminary. The reason is because some properties have more street, some have more sewer, more water. So just how that shakes out. The street prices were a little higher, but the water and sewer was lower, and it was lower more than the street was higher for all but one property. So again, now that we have these amounts, so now we will have a public hearing. So the resolution you're considering tonight is setting that hearing, and then we will initiate the mailing process, notification process, just like 72nd Avenue Way. We have to follow statute. We have to send them so many notices. We have to publish in the paper so many times. This will initiate, Sarah working on that. And then at that hearing, when you have a hearing, then the statute requires basically, your staff engineering team to give a presentation on it, to present the information, to present the assessments. And then at that meeting, then the residents, in this case for the 2023-24 street projects, would be able to present testimony to you regarding their assessment amount. And you are the authority, you get to make that decision. And then there's an appeal process if they don't agree with you, that they could take that to district court. So at that hearing, we spell out that whole process. We are required to do that by statute. Conversely, the hearing we had, the first one, which we'll be having on 72nd Avenue Way next meeting, the first hearing is more information, and that's what you've heard me refer to as the are we going to proceed, thumbs up, thumbs down. So on 72nd Avenue Way, we are at the very beginning of the process. On the 23-24 project, we are at the end of the process. But they happen to overlap the beginning and the end, so it's a little bit of an administrative nightmare for Sarah that we have two projects happen at the same time, but she's doing a great job of keeping that straight. So that being said, I don't have anything else to add other than you have all the information in your packet, and trying not to give you more than you need at this point. So,
Questions from the council for Bill? Discussion? None?
If I remember correctly, none of the owners affected here came to the public hearing and said anything, correct?
yeah. There are some people that were here, but no one chose to speak that evening,
Okay,
correct?
Anything else from the council? Hearing none, can we pass this all in one motion, or does it have to be two
I
separate?
think you need two.
Okay. Could I get a motion to approve Resolution 2713, declaring the cost to be assessed and ordering preparation of proposed assessment in connection with the 2023-2024 street and utility improvements?
So moved.
Second?
Motion from Mr. Lindell, second from Ms. Johnson. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carries. Now I would entertain a motion for Resolution 2714, calling the hearing on assessments for 2023-2024 street and utility improvements. So moved. Motion from Mr. Gesme,
Second.
second from Mr. Jepson. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carries. That brings us to reports. We'll start Chamber of Commerce. Maggie.
Every time. Good evening, Mayor and Council. Just a couple brief updates from the Chamber here tonight. Tomorrow morning, we are hosting our monthly Chamber breakfast. Lisa Havelka from Explore Minnesota will be here and just speaking on tourism in Minnesota and why it's important and matters to Minnesota. So Chamber members are welcome to come, and we also open that up to the public. It is $10 per person to attend. 7 a.m. here tomorrow morning. As far as events go, we wrapped up our Halloween event in October, the Trick or Treat Trot. We had over 1,300 people come through for that. So that was actually less than last year. But it's still a fantastic number. So we're looking forward to next year's. And coming up is Deck the Falls. It is November 25th. And I just want to say thank you to Public Works. They are busy preparing to make downtown festive. So we appreciate all the work you guys put into that. We are looking for parade units. Anybody is welcome to be in the parade for Deck the Falls. It is free. You can find the registration form on our website and on the Facebook page, or you can just contact me and I can get you signed up. The Today magazine is sponsoring a window decorating contest amongst the businesses in Cannon Falls, so be sure to check out window displays in the next couple weeks. That'll be popping up. And just quickly, Deck the Falls schedule. It is Small Business Saturday, so we encourage the community to shop local. The day will start with a pancake breakfast at the fire department by the Lions Club. And then we have story time with Santa, pictures with Santa. New this year is a chili feed. It's at the Bomber baseball boosters are doing it as a fundraiser at Tillion's from 3 to 7. And then we have the parade and then fireworks to end the night. So that's all I have, unless anybody has any questions. All right, thank you.
Thank you. Joint Powers Trail Board, anything to bring up?
We talked about the third quarter budget and the trail manager position description update.
All right,
Yeah, got her figured out.
great. The EDA met on November 2nd.
Want me to?
Go ahead,
Laura's
please.
not
Yep.
here tonight.
Yep,
I'll
go
take it. We talked about Raw Bistro and their loan that they have with us. We talked about land lease payment out on the property, Hardwood Estates. We also talked about project schedule for Hardwood Estates, some other items like signage and marketing, et cetera. The 2024 CETA contract was discussed and actually approved. You'll see that coming your way. And then they set a strategic planning meeting for the next meeting. So that's it.
Thank you, Neil. Public Works Commission also met on the 2nd.
I think everything's on the
Consent agenda?
Yeah, I don't think we had anything else, so.
All right, wonderful. Department heads will go around the horn. Jed?
Public Works are just getting ready for winter, preparing lights for Deck the Falls and everything else that's coming up. Other than that, I really don't got anything.
John Birch Park, any seed down before things get too cold, or?
Yes.
Okay.
Seed and fertilizer and
Wonderful.
everything else that it needs to repair it.
It'll look great in spring. Thank you. Bill?
Well, just segueing right on the John Birch Park, so the surveying was mostly wrapped up today. Our goal was to beat the snow. Jed told me it wasn't going to snow. What'd you just tell me? December, so I'm going to hold them to that.
Good,
so,
good.
We've already kind of covered the 72nd Avenue Way, the public hearing for that, and all the information will be next meeting. Then Hardwood Estates, it's been a little bit of a moving target on a start date, because when we were going to start, we had a pretty hard cold snap there. As we sit today, tentatively next week. So one of the things we do is the city and city staff is we have found that residents don't always pay attention to the council, what's on the website, all the information related to Hardwood Estates. So that's why we hand out those flyers, because when we stick it in people's doors or mailboxes, then we know they get it. So that's why we do that, because we're trying to just head off questions, or at least let people know when equipment starts moving in next week, they'll know why. So that's our attempt to be proactive. That's it. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Yeah, 50s, possibly 60s is what I saw, so that there might be more of a window for projects to get done than we thought, so.
Absolutely.
Zach?
Can I just add on to that real quick? I just want to clarify the difference, or what's happening on November 21st versus December 5th.
Okay, so November 21st, that is the initial hearing. So that is the first time you will publicly be presenting in a hearing format what the city's looking at in 72nd. So on 72nd Avenue Way, you authorized a feasibility study, so you have not authorized design. You have not authorized anything beyond that to begin. So what you'll do that evening is you will have a presentation by us on what the project is, and then you will have a chance to vote to either proceed or not to proceed after you hear comments from the crowd. And you have to have a 4/5 majority by the council to initiate that. Okay? What will be happening now on December, help me out, Neil, 5th? Is that December 5th? Is that the end of that? Now we've done all that. We've had our public input. We've put plans together. We've taken bids. Now at the end of the process, on the 5th, you will be sending out the actual assessment amounts, and people can contest their assessment. And then you will receive their, what should we call it, Shelley, their evidence, what they're presenting to you, and then you'll decide that evening if someone would decide to challenge their assessment. And then we lay that whole process out because, as I've mentioned, you know, the statutes are meant to, you know, they're not super friendly. They're prescriptive. We got to follow them. Here's what we do. You know, the notices we send out are pretty, again, sorry, Shelley, they're pretty, a lot of legal word terms. You know, they're not meant to, you know, be in a nice narrative form, but that's how, unfortunately, these things are. So we try to be as helpful as we can, though.
Zach?
Nothing tonight.
All right.
Back on some of the stuff that they were talking about, winter weather. Winter parking takes effect starting on November 1st, goes until March 30th. Nobody likes getting tickets. Nobody likes having your vehicles towed. It's not our goal to tow vehicles. So if everybody can make sure their vehicles are off the road when they need to be. If you go and look at the Beacon article, they have a really good article out there about where parking can be and where people can park their vehicles. That's all we have.
Thank you. Shelley?
Nothing further, Mr. Mayor.
All right. Sarah?
I just wanted to update you. I did mail the notices for 72nd Avenue Way yesterday. So actually tomorrow they should receive them in their mailboxes.
Thank you. Neil?
I think Bill and Jed covered everything that we got going on right now. A lot of projects.
All right. Laura?
I'm good.
Lisa?
Nothing from me.
Ryan?
Nope.
Derek? Nope. Diane?
Well, I know you're going to bring up the football team.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Which one, Vikings?
Yeah. So, just to be fair to all concerned, congratulations to the Cannon Falls volleyball team for being runner-up in sectional, and for our FFA crops team that's going to national.
Oh,
very cool.
Oh, it's exciting.
I think they're there now, aren't they?
Well, they could be. I don't know exactly.
There was a
when.
national event going on, yeah, but
Oh,
they,
Indy,
yeah,
right?
yep,
Indiana,
right,
yeah.
that's right. Anything else?
No.
All right, Steve.
Nothing.
Diane, you read my mind. Congratulations to the girls' section finals. It's a great season. Football, still playing. First round of state Thursday night, New Prague. Get your tickets online, Minnesota State High School League. They're going to be playing Triton, who they beat in the regular season 73-12. So we're hoping to make it to the bank. Another thing, today is Election Day, and it made me think a year ago, right about this time, we all won our election. So I want to say thank you for your first year of service. I know it's been 10 months and a week, but thank you. I truly am, I feel blessed to be on this council with you guys and with these department heads. I think we are accomplishing a lot for this community. So this season is the time of Thanksgiving, but it's also elections. Thank goodness this is a quiet year here for us and nothing, the polls, we weren't having active stuff today. So I just wanted to say thank you to everybody. With that said, a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Motion from Lisa, second from Diane. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And we are adjourned. Thank you, everybody.